Begin. Topic. Act 1. A mock fight. Husband Chanakya enters the bedroom where wife Mayuri is sitting with an intent of starting a fight and then leaving for the next stage of his drama to begin. Chanakya. I'm going to my sister's house, far away from your ascetic words. He then slams the door on her, insulting her by not caring to hear anything that she had to say. Mayuri. After compromising with my freedom of choices, I feel cheated. We get married and suddenly we have a partner to give or take advice from. Major deception, as whenever an either or slash dharam sankat situation arises, either of the two parties will have to compromise. I can now see this contradiction, which is one of the reasons behind my despair. Being a fully grown adult, I'm expected to take full ownership for my actions. After all, it is me also who will get fried in hell's cauldron for all these sins in the karmic court. And yet, being a duty-bound wife, my accountability shifts, as now I'm expected to do what my husband thinks is the right thing to do. All my trust in the institution of marriage is now gone. For me to trust anyone again is impossible. Is not the only true relationship that binds us humanity and nothing else? I am now in such a sorry state that even if my darling husband were to walk all over my rights to go for another woman, I will be only drinking that poison silently. ... End topic. Begin topic. Act 3. When space distinctions vanish to witness the West embracing the East. Begin poem. Manut Ganga Mahu Na Manut Behta Bani. Note. English. When you look with reverence, you see river as our mother, else just flowing water. Unknown, a popular Hindi saying. End poem. Once the third wheel fast and wife Mayuri lose their man-made relationship tags to become just Foss and just Mayuri, what do they do then? Like children, they start playing silly monster games. Simple. Foss is running after Mayuri, shouting, I'm a monster. I'm gonna eat you. Run for your life. Ha 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 ha. Taking his threat seriously, she too begins running as fast as possible to get in the master bedroom upstairs and then under the blanket. The place where she feels most safe and happens to be the precise place where gravity too is working in favor of having two beating hearts play hide and seek with each other to finally come out of their hiding. As now humans' work is over, as the gravitational energies now take over, ensuring the job will get done. After all the running upstairs, he cannot resist falling on the clean, inviting bed which she had prepared for herself and her husband to enjoy. The sight triggers in her a bittersweet revelation. Efforts never get wasted. The comedy in the situation is that all this while I was stressing that all of my investment of time in making preparations for this evening so I can enjoy with this man will all get wasted, only to find, to my pleasant surprise, that all the investment I made in efforts were never a waste, as it will pay off, even if it is not with this man, but with that man instead. I'll be a fool if I give credit to myself for my efforts as something which started this evening from preparing the bed, but from a time that is way before I had even met this strong-armed American man. All those efforts in getting situated in American society, learning American accent for better communication with Americans that I did, thinking they were for that man, only to find that they were really for this man. Then, on thinking in eternal time spans, then possibly even before, from wanting this man from some earlier birth, that hidden desire that pulled me across oceans to a whole new continent just for this one moment of pleasure. So it is only fair when I say that my whole life so far has been nothing but a big preparation for this one moment of ecstasy. Now, what do I do when I'm face to face with this paradox? The fruit of all my eternal gains is at the tip of my tongue, but ethics, on the other hand, is frowning. Suspend that ethics. I be damned if my foot slips now. Simple. When he sees her more open to his suggestions, he mixes his deadly cocktail, which has never failed in any of his past conquests, singing a romantic song with some marijuana. On seeing him light a skinny joint like him, dread comes all over her face. Mayuri, why do you smoke marijuana, which is illegal, while all these strong sedatives and alcohol have the same effect, just without any headaches of getting in trouble with the law? Fast, burn all these sedatives you have right away. How can anyone not be schizophrenic when our bodies are more than 70% water, and Anyone who says that they do not see any link between water and emotions must have never seen the insane heights that the tides can rise to for kissing the surface of the moon, especially on a full moon day. Almost many of the lies floated in this world, this one is also false. Sedatives and alcohol are a downer, while marijuana, on the other hand, is an upper, meaning rises the spirits. Mayuri, when Lord Shiva enjoys this plant, cannot be that bad. Why not? She acknowledges her consent by accepting his offer. Her honoring him by respecting his word flatters him. Seeing the fire burning in the fireplace, he cannot stop himself from singing a song in her presence. A storm roars outside, a storm roars inside. Thunder and lightning roar at a distance, warning us will fall on us. Outside water is extinguishing fire. Inside water is starting fire. Outside insanity, insanity inside. Close your eyes to see nothing, yet you are still seeing. But this time, with the eye of the eye, that the fire you see in me for you is really the fire in you for me. Dot, dot, dot. She is sitting at his feet on the floor next to the couch on which he's sitting. She is looking for some support to get up. He extends his hand to lift her. When she sees the helping extended hand is strong but is not of her husband, in her begins a conflict. Holding a hand of someone other than one's husband is against cultural teachings. She wants to refuse, but still she knows not why she accepts it. As she is putting her hand in his, a secret reveals itself to her at that moment. We all react to external situations like chemical processes. All that we can do is just let go of the past and accept whatever that the future has to offer us with gratitude. Dot, dot, dot. Once both have lost all touch with this fake reality made by human, raw, natural forces begin to play. The universe pauses to see this beautifully executed somersault by destiny, to see this rare moment when the east and west dissolves all their differences to become one, when the master becomes the slave. The queen of this person becomes the queen of that person. Dot, dot, dot. End topic. Begin topic. The centuries old idol of marriage finally smashed into fine pieces here. Begin quote. My body is a temple. It is the stones that are alive. Us humans never were. Dot, dot, thought. Mast-mayuri, the intoxicated peafowl dancing in the rain. Once the lustful passions have had their way, they also leave these bodies cold to find their next victim. Their victim, on the other hand, scratches their heads trying to figure out how a sensible person like them could also do something that only some insane person would do. Now he slaps himself for his poor execution in his role as a broker. If only he would have watched this drama as a third person and not become the first person himself, he is making a hasty exit to avoid meeting the husband at the door while she is slapping herself hard for not recognizing her death, who had come to her in the form of this deceiver who has already left her alone. She slaps her once again to remind herself of this hard-earned lesson that she seems to forget whenever it is needed the most. The source of enjoyment does not depend on the quality of the other partners, but one's own imagination. The performance of this man is same as that man's, if not even pitiable. Mayuri, I know not why I feel as if the first moment when the lovers' eyes meet, their future is sealed. Like moths rushing into fire with great speed, they too, despite knowing their meeting will only end in pain and heartache, meet. Now, if this contrariety not the biggest cosmic joke played on us mortals, then what is? Well, the comedy of errors does not just end here, as once they consume their desires, the magnetic pull with it too gets consumed in some invisible vortex, leaving the lovers wondering how a sane mind like theirs could do something so insane like that. Since this tragic episode also marks the end of our brief friendship, I feel cheap, like some disposable toilet paper, and yet I cannot curse him, as I must have seen an image of the qualities that I look for in a husband, and so let him enter my body temple. Or none of all these thoughts have any substance, and that I am just making too much out of some harmless self-play joys. If I expect it to become some lifelong drama, then the fault is in my expectation. Just stomp on it and be done with it already. On stomping over these time-consuming thoughts also comes the realization that there is no time to grieve at all. Her misfortune is She cannot just sit there transformed into a stone, but since the show is still on, she quickly gets up and recomposes herself to deal diplomatically with the next stage of this dark night, which seemed would only end after it has drunk all the blood from her heart and then served in her skull to the devil in a silver platter. All her fears take shape as she begins to hear the heavy footsteps of her husband nearing the entrance to the place of all action. Dot dot dot. End subtopic. Begin subtopic. Act 4. Brain fry. Mayuri is sitting with her one knee touching the bed while other knee supporting her elbow as her hand cups her forehead. This is not time for reflections but action, and that too now. In such a state of confusion and haste, only utter confusion is king. Mayuri. I get no satisfaction. When the trade goes wrong, the loss pains me, and when the trade goes right, then also the gain pains me, because now I kick myself for not going all in that one winning trade. A good gambler is one who has the discipline to stay within the limit. But her being a novice is challenging. Earlier, during the day, when she was tired of small petty wins and losses, she was toying with a trade that is all or nothing. Since the thought had gone in suspended mode, and so this same trade is still on her screen, which is just a key stroke away from execution, is a great setup for some major upheavals. In her confusion, she is running towards the computer to start her own little drama of pretending to look busy with her usual pending office work. In her nervousness, she hits the key that executes that fatal trade that acted like the final nail on her coffin. In these times of HFT, high frequency trading, in a matter of a fraction of a second, the execution of all open orders happens. Being no undue choice, it takes away all her lifetime earnings with this one fatal keystroke. In less than a second, from hero, she became zero. Now that there is no undue choice, all her money is forever gone into some black hole that has no beginning and no end. Once an arrow leaves the bowstring, it cannot come back. No matter how much she prays, the black monster of death refuses to regurgitate. The train wreck has happened, and all she can do is curse her own timing. On seeing danger, a pigeon's reaction is to close its eyes, hoping that the predator too will do the same, and this way will not see it. But that is just dreaming, and so comes food for the predator. She too feels like being in that same pigeon state, paralyzed and anxious. Once fear has completely overpowered her, she can feel all saliva in her mouth drying up, a burning sensation under the skin, and as if she has forgotten how to get her breath back to her body. Unable to see any escape route from this fiasco, she can now see all those inauspicious omens, dire consequences take a real shape. Dot, dot, dot. In subtopic. Begin subtopic. Public stoning. An experienced policeman knows the perpetrator as soon as he sees the scene. The strong smell of marijuana tickles his nostrils, whispering the dirty secret as he stands at the front of the staircase. As he goes up the staircase, ornaments that his wife would often wear were lying scattered on the steps, telling him the trailer of his story, whose heroine is his own wife. But hero is not him, but his own best friend. His male ego gets a rude blow as he knows not why he expected his wife to have either killed herself or the invader, but never surrender to that other man who has no qualities in common with him, which could have confused his muddlehead wife's head or something like that. Chanakya to himself, how can this be? This woman who was so dumb that she would act like her own enforcer for the censor board, policing her own thoughts from only allowing my thoughts only, is now in another man's arms? This event is a big slap on my mental prowess. Not just that, it also means that she does not love either of us, only the one who will flatter her ego the most. Yet it cannot be true either, because I do not see any signs of self-love in her. Then it means she is a mere slave to her desire that too was not hers, but something which was planted in her by me. He continues to walk in disbelief and self-denial till he is now at the scene of action. There bedroom, where he's now staring face to face with reality. He says nothing and just looks at her angrily, expecting her to explain herself by herself. Her face looks white and perplexed. She stammers incoherently and inadvertently extends her hand to cover the screen. Her nervous reflex action of covering the screen to hide the blunder instead attracts his attention towards the screen, what she is trying to hide. He pulls her hand off the screen, which screamed all her trade losses flashing in bold red color. ... And subtopic. Begin topic. Act 5. A hard kick in the sternum of the goddess of money, Lakshmi. When Chanakya sees all her money, or his money by proxy, disappear in a split of a second, a cold chill runs down his spine. Then, when his gaze turns towards his wife, Mayuri, a cold chill runs down her spine. This time, seeing her face turn white, he wants to embrace her, tell her he will fix everything, but in the very next moment he looks at the screen. Then he is fire again. He takes her by her long hair and dragging her down the stairs says, "You worthless woman, the very one goddess of money, Ma Lakshmi, who has been the most generous with us. You just kicked her in the sternum. Now, alienating her means no money. No money means you are no good either. Your ignorance of the dangerous acts of promiscuity has been put an end to our marriage. Just so you understand the gravity of the situation, sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, are at an all-time high in the world, especially here in America, where you live. Now, you are impure for me to live with anymore. You were my goose who laid golden eggs every month, but now you are neither golden nor good for your dried up eggs. You are only the source of my disgrace now. The cause of your miserable condition now is wanting something that is beyond your body's limitations. So now I will help you get free of that bondage by deviating your desires to just one desire, which is death. ... End topic. Begin subtopic. Another platitudinous wandering Jew born. Husband Chanakya. Who are you? I don't even recognize you anymore. Just a short while ago, you were pledging your allegiances to your great husband Chanakya till eternity and beyond. But now, in just that one night when I was not with you, you forgot everything, and the insults to me, does not just end here. As you were dancing and playing with a whole new husband who has no resemblance with me, for you to delude yourself into mistaking me for a look-alike. Here I was, thinking that the net of religious vows we took with fire as our witness is a proven method of taming a lioness will work again. Now I know never to underestimate the power in lustful desires. Now no one will take me seriously, including myself. My surprise is not as much over my own wife's conduct, but why it has taken me so long in throwing her out. I am not your husband anymore. You are a fake, a big fake. I just helped you by proving to you because you are too retarded to see for yourself. You should be grateful to me for bursting your bubble and bringing you down to freaking reality. Patience is divine, you say all the time, right? Then just wait some more patiently and watch what I do now. Just bloody watch. With these murderous thoughts swimming wildly through his mind, he's now thinking of the strictest way of punishing his wife. To make his importance felt, he takes his cigarette and, by using the lit end, burns the top layer of the skin situated right in the middle of her forehead, just where the Lord Shiva, the Lord of Destruction's third eye, is found. It is easy not to miss it due to the glowing red kumkum, an accessory worn by most Indian women she's wearing. He continues, this burn has been strategically put at a spot where the third eye lives, as when the third eye opens, it is said to burn all desires in the person, which means you will wander around hungry forever, like the proverbial wandering Jew or the character Ashwatthama in the epic Mahabharata. She crouches down, expecting him to beat her, but instead, to her surprise, he has already vanished from the scene. Even after going through all the humiliation, one would expect one to let go of everything, but even she does not know why she still thinks of herself as his wife and is still worried for his welfare. So, fearing that he might be doing something to hurt himself, she runs towards the door and starts banging on the door, asking him to open the door, saying, "It's me! Open the door, it's me!" Suddenly, she stops making her own banging noise in order to hear the sounds coming from his room, and when she did hear, she gets full of dread, as the sounds were of his leather belt touching his own bare skin. She gets even more horrified when she realizes his real agenda behind disappearing like that. He is making marks on his body to serve as a proof which will not do much damage to him but will decimate her completely. Dread written all over her face. She is now shivering nervously once she understands the real intent behind all this high stress drama. Mayuri, he's trying to get me trapped in an offense which is untrue, yet difficult to reject. He is smart enough to not wait for me to do what he just did. Now I wonder what surprises are packed in the next act. Police is at the door. End subtopic. Begin subtopic. Act 6. Let go. Mayuri, a step forward is stepping into an uncertain future, while a step backward will put me back into the hell's cauldron to be cooked day and night and then relive a death sentence. Police officers, please come with us for now. You can always come back home later once the legal negotiation process starts. Mayuri, it was he himself who had given our house a new name of the Dream Palace. But now this house has become a symbol of my nightmarish life. So now re-Christian this house with a new name of the Nightmare Palace. What were our dreams yesterday are ash today. The police officers stand there, listening to every word while not saying any of their own. These officials are trained to not do the mistake of interrupting the nervous rant from an inexperienced, battered woman, as the moment she stops talking, they will be losing vital information. Finally, once the rant of the frustrated woman ends, they too break their own silence and stoically say, as police officers, we have met all kinds of fantastic minds, so for us to be surprised means limits have been crossed. We must acknowledge that we are not just surprised but shocked to see it happened with an Indian couple whose culture boasts of divorce rate being less than 1 to 2%. Keep in mind that we are not here to decide if you are innocent or guilty. That is the job of the court of law, or even to deal with the ridiculous reversals of love-hate unending dramas. We are merely executioners of the orders given to us. We are here to serve you with a restraining order from the court, which requires us to escort you out of this house. Now, the control over the latter flow of events is neither in your hands or in the other parties. From here on, the system will take over your fate in relation to him. They say words of empathy that help her feel better. We can easily see through the cunning of your husband in how he's manipulating the system to his advantage, and yet we cannot act otherwise, as we are no movie heroes but are mere slaves to the system. Yet, since humanity is not yet dead and we are real heroes, we will go out of our way to help you get to some safe nearby car rental. Car 2 is gone. Things are really bad. End topic. Begin topic. Inversion of control / bankrupt wounded lioness knows not where to go. A woman who has the power to build her house with her own hands in this suddenly, with a cruel flip of destiny, has no house for herself anymore. She knows not where to go when a naughty gust of wind blew off her veil, as if mocking her, teasingly exposing her bosom to the entire world. If this wind had such insolence just a night before, she would have at once, with a great urgency, covered the exposed part, but now all her sense of shame and womanliness seemed to have gone with the wind. ... Mayuri. Where does Mayuri go from here now? This man in whose arms I was a moment ago will sure embrace me again. Then, by accepting me as his wife, he will help me in getting situated in this unforgiving society once more. Aggressive like a man, she now assumes the role also of a man too. Fast! 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 Open the door! It's me! Open the door! When a small 2-year-old girl comes running out from the back door to see who this excited visitor is in their usually quiet home. From the front door enters a beautiful young woman who, upon seeing another woman, instinctively says an unwelcoming remark. Whose pants are on fire now? Faust could have introduced the visitor as someone he sees as a friend and shown her respect by saying some welcoming words, but he does nothing of that sort. She lowers her head in shame on realizing her own hypocrisy, even after seeing his impotence. She is still standing there to hear what her deceiver had to offer. Still, her ears still had some hope of hearing some good news which can give her a new life. Mayuri, My friend Fast, I've lost everything. I need shelter till this unending dark night ends. Can I live with you here? Faust is silent. His silence encourages his wife to lash out with her uncontrolled and wild tongue. Faust's wife. Absolutely not. We are not running a charity here. I warn you. Even if I see your shadow 7 houses away, I will have you arrested and put behind bars for stalking my man. Mayuri wonders why she feels she has heard similar words before. Then Mayuri is reminded of her karma from that incident with the widow in childhood. Her head spins. If Mayuri would have heard such cruel words of disrespect towards her, she would have ripped that tongue off. But today, she gulps down all the acid from her words. Her eyeballs dart towards Faust, but he stays quiet. Mayuri, now looking directly at Faust. This question is for Faust. Faust. My wife's wishes are above everything else. On facing humiliation once again, in hearing such cruel and insensitive words against herself, she closes her eyes in disbelief, sheds a silent tear on herself, then on her helpless situation, and lastly on her failure in recognizing her death, which had come disguised as this man who she had worshipped even more than her husband. She leaves. After she has turned a corner, she's surprised to see the car of Faust gesturing her to meet him at the gas station ahead. She does not want to do anything with this cheater, and yet she knows not why she is obeying his instructions. Faust, it's all your fault. Looks like in your imaginary world, the only one married in this entire world is you. And that is why you never even bother of asking me about my marital status. Still, I am worried about you. I see this fresh wound on your forehead, for which I can bring marijuana for little extra cost, just so your pain gets some relief. Dot, dot, dot. Mayuri, regarding your concern over my pain, whether I liked it or I will not include it in my life, simply because if there is any habit that will make me dependent on you, I will just not start it. Regardless, thank you for reminding me once again that I am neither dependent on your sympathy nor my husband's, but on my real husband, only, who lives high up in the skies. Let us stop all further conversation at this point, as I feel I'm beginning to lose my respect for you. Now that there is nothing more left to say or hear, Mayuri begins to leave from that spot when he stops her once again. Fast. It's not because I take some perverted pleasure in doing things opposite of what you ask me to do, but really, I have a big secret to tell you which might help you get a closure over this whole event. Mayuri holds her breath as she hears all about the way she was set up by a drama whose director is none other than her own husband, Chanakya. Mayuri, is love not but a mere trickery of a cunning seducer? My whole faith in love is shaken up. If you had come to kill me, why did you not? Faust, I came to kill you if I failed in resolving the dispute, but that did not happen. In the evening, when the dark passions prevail, a man is always the weaker one in front of a woman, especially when she is in heat. Also, when all the outside conditions become favorable, the best course of action for the players left is to respect the decision of the natural forces by just going with the flow. When I called your husband, he did not give me any money because I failed in killing you. I lost. Your husband Chanakya told me you too have lost all your money in stocks. So even if you were dead, he would not get even a penny. So he lost too. Your losses are just too many to even try quantifying. So, in short, in this battle of evil bloodbath, everyone lost. Mayuri is listening to every word of Faust quietly. Once she has heard the whole story, she stops all begging, arguments, and reasoning, and instead becomes silent. She could hear her own words that she had learned every time she fell. Life is a synchrony of a teardrop and a laugh. A teardrop for that one object you could never reach, a laughter which follows on seeing one's own foolishness. Dot, dot, dot. End topic. Begin topic. Null/state diagrams. Begin quote. I become nothing to assimilate with the essence of everything. Love. Dot, dot, dot. The intoxicated peafowl dancing in the rain. Begin subtopic. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Begin subtopic. Anger. Et tu, brute, your cowardly act did not just expose all the hypocrisy in marriage vows, but also robbed from all my belief in love and humanity. The fire in me wants me to burn down your dream palace, just as you burned all my honor and prestige that I enjoyed from becoming your wife. And yet, You can relax. I will never do something drastic like that. Not just because the wisdom of the rishis' blood runs through my veins, but because the hope in me is stronger enough to not let my past ruin the new life which awaits me now. Dot, dot, dot. Begin topic self-loathing. Temptation is evil. These bleeding marks on my body are like mementos given by the mercy of Lord Vishnu, the Preserver, as a constant reminder that I have come too far from my ethical values. My fateful and sinful acts can only lead me to my ruin only. I want to scream from rooftops to warn all my sisters out there. Oh, sister, be content with what you have, even if he's old and wore out, and never covet that young Italian stallion grazing in the green pastures of the neighbor's house. How, since childhood, whenever I would hear stories of women caught in adultery, I would automatically degrade them to inferior individuals than us, who come from cultured families only to find I did not just become one of them, but the mascot of this clan. If such a travesty had occurred in some brothel, one would not get that easily taken aback. But for this to happen to a granddaughter of a priest still does have a surprise element in it. An event that should never have happened has happened. Dot, dot, dot. Begin subtopic. Self-pity / the biggest loser. Begin quote. How can we ever call any comparison as fair when everything is unique? End quote. When the master himself turns against his loving pet, then it becomes only a number game before he himself serves his own unsuspecting pet with some milk laced with poison with his loving smile. In one stroke of misfortune, I lost all my investment of my childbearing years, my youth, my physical beauty. The only consolation is that humanity is not dead, as the thief did leave me with a clean house. If ever there is a competition for finding the biggest loser, then you do not need to go any further. Here is your winner, who will win easily. Put all your garlands of victory around my neck. No, not this way. You are hiding the garland of bleeding marks which the people I trusted the most gave me. Could neither get a baby nor true love. But what did get in abundance is loads of bruised ego and self-loathing. What I thought to be pure gold turned out to be a fake. Fake like my smile, fake like my performances. What looked like a shining Cadillac from outside turned out to be a clunker. And now I am stuck with an added bill for towing the clunker off my lot. Never again will I put all my eggs in one basket, as now that the safety net is gone, I know not what will become of me. Begin subtopic. Guilt. How can I ever blame my husband for anything at all when all the fault lies in me? It is me who dropped the ball. It is my inability or disability that prevented me from fulfilling my share of my duty as a wife, of giving him the happiness that comes in on becoming a father. Why could I not look at my oath of celibacy as mere words like everybody else? My pledge to never marry has a big bearing on all my later choices. Why did I have to wear the coffin of my oath in an age where people can't forget anything just to move on, and that too on the name of protecting their ethical principles, their family traditions, knowing fully well that the receiving end is my neck at the chopping block? ... End subtopic. Begin subtopic. Humble request. Listen, O esteemed philosophers and authorities of ethics. I shall implore the whole congregation for a deeper investigation to ensure no one must go through what I am. My change request: every woman gets the man of her choice, who will obey all her commands and fulfill all her desires just the way she wants. And if they refuse to grant my wish, I shall give up all religions and form my own religion. I share my secret disgrace to dissect like a guinea pig, so that no one must suffer the way I did. ... End subtopic. Begin subtopic. Apologia to my husband. Hell's fire might look like ice water compared to the heat of shame I'm experiencing right now. How can I ever blame him when he just had the courage to do what I wanted to do? I am like a bird who is dependent on his master for his tender love and care. If he does not feed his bird on time, and then if the bird gets tempted to take a bait from another master and flies away to the new master's home, it might be seen as an expression of fickleness in the eyes of the quick to judge world, but for my new open eyes is an expression of desiring a mirage. ... If ever my conduct hurt you in any way, forgive me. As someone rightly said, to err is human, and I am still at that low animal level. Dot, dot, dot. End subtopic. Begin subtopic. Teleology versus ethics. Begin quote. To err is human, to forgive divine. Source unknown. Most teleology philosophers shout to us, reminding us that one's allegiance should be to the goal and not the players and objects. But now, when my new experience, I changed the statement to say that indeed the allegiance should be towards the goal, but only if the goal favors universal goodness. And subtopic. Begin subtopic. Apologia to my parents. The most giving relationship in the world must be of the mother, as without her giving me birth, my existence was not even possible. The mother is the first to welcome her children to the world. Whether they turn out to be saints or turn out to be sinners, she does not discriminate. As for her loving and caring eyes only see in the person the same little child who sucked abundance from her breast. How, like a coward, I married without consulting my own parents, but now, when the very person for whom I rebelled against my parents for has kicked me out, my situation is disgustingly pitiable. I know my parents' heart is big and they will accept me back too, but how will I face the community? Outwardly, they may not say any cruel words to me, but inwardly, everyone will take enjoyment on my situation. I will become the hot topic of all gossip circles. That is why, no, I realize that even when the entire world turns against me, my only hope for an unconditional acceptance is my parents. Because, as I said before, the most giving relation in the world must be of the parents. Dot, dot, dot. End subtopic. End topic. Begin topic. The ultimate joy, a kiss with death. Begin quote. Satyameva jayate. Truth always wins. Manduk Upanishad. Begin subtopic. A divine clue, goddess Sita. Since I'm no goddess, but just another platitudinous mortal, Mother Earth will not do me the same favors as it did for goddess Sita by parting and then swallowing her, as mentioned in epic Ramayana. All that is relevant for me in it is my clue out of this labyrinth. When, in her case, after goddess Sita's husband left her due to unforeseen circumstances, she did not go back. Even when there was a chance for her to go back. Now that this clears all my confusions, it is impossible for me to go back without losing all leftover self-respect. These huge doors, which when seen by the eyes of bride Mayuri, were the doors to a dream palace, but now, when seen with my new aware wife Mayuri eyes, are doors to a nightmare palace. ... To solidify my resolve to my own fickle mind, I pledge today, with heaven above as my witness, I, the daughter of Father Akash and Mother Aditi, am never going back to that nightmare palace again. Overwhelmed with deep sorrow, I get in my car. I can see how this event must be the last, final limit. A door from which anyone who came will have to go through is the only door left open for me now. Then is not death a beautiful exit for ending a life that is only going to get increasingly painful? My mind is swimming with destructive thoughts. The more destructive they get, the more my foot presses harder on the accelerator, as if with its fearful speed I am ensuring it has nowhere else to go but plunge into the depths of the abyss. When the light from my grandmother left her body, I saw her body simultaneously expel excreta too from her body. Now I have experienced such an action every time I use my body to give me ultimate body pleasure. Then, is it not fair to say that an embrace with death must be another form of the ultimate joy? ... End subtopic. Begin. Subtopic: The Big Bang. Om Triambakam Yajamahi Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarukmiv Bandhana Mrityo Mukshi Yamamritahat. Maha Mrityunjay Mantra, Rig Ved. O the three-eyed one, we give sacrifice to the fragrant, the virtuous, the supreme being, the giver of nourishment, wealth, perfection, just like Urvaukam, a kind of cucumber, when ripe, detaches from its holding easily. Similarly, I too free myself from death without any difficulty to salvation. Mayuri's vehicle is no longer in her control. The vehicle has crashed into a strong banyan tree with a strong transcendental sound, setting all supernatural forces in motion. It is like the third eye of Lord Shiva, the face of Super Kundalini for overseeing destruction just opened, expressing his anger on seeing the Super Kundalini, Indra's favorite devotee Mayuri, lying helpless in this dying state. The poor tree suffers silently, unlike people who would have chased her all the way up to the hell's fire till they get a compensation for stress and trauma caused to them by the accident. The sky roared with thunder and lightning as all the birds in the sky begin to fly erratically as if what they just witnessed is something that should never have happened and yet has happened. ... End subtopic. End